You know what? Let me give you guys a peek behind the curtain, yeah? Boop. So, I don't know if you can see. This is StreamerBot. This is what y'all are interacting with during stream, right? I copied a costume change that already has everything there. And then I have a now digit costumes change. I changed the reward to the digit costume change. So that's the one that activates it. And then we switch to the keybind for digit, which is Shift F12. So we go here and we do keyboard press, hold on, Shift and then F12 and then hit OK and then save. And now it should work. Boom, done. Where should you go? Should we see the autumn, feel the autumn breeze and breathe in the spores that I'm sure would not grow in our lungs? Or the stormy seas, the one that everyone says, hey, it's a really cool beach, and then you get there and it's just 97% rocks. Oh, look at that. Ooh, look. Parasite. When there's like a couple doing PDA in public and you're just trying to eat your food. Ooh, such a good frame. It's so good. Look at this art, dude. Ah, forget about it. You, the beast. I like, honestly, like I love the effects and everything. The stretch of the hat is a very nice touch. That is the lamb, Dodo. Our savior, our guide, our leader by divine right. Praise the Dodo. Praise the Dodo. Clearly a fish, right? Where did those legs come from? Honestly, it's a good question. Why does this have legs? That's a good question. If y'all didn't have to sleep, you could still sleep, but you didn't have to sleep. There's no physical harm to your body in not sleeping. Or essentially like be able to sleep whenever you want it. Which one would you choose? To not need sleep ever, or have like be able to just at the drop of a hat be able to just pass out at any point and have excellent sleep? AKA improve sleep or remove sleep. Which would you choose? Improve sleep? I would want to remove sleep. I want to do more things. I would do first. I would do the first one. I want to do more things. And using 8 hours of the day through rest, I feel like I could do a lot more, get a lot more done that I'd want to. You know? And and then if I feel like I want to like dream or actually rest, I can still do that. My dreams are also great, but like again, it's not like I never get to sleep. It's just that if like I want to do something, I want to fit more of my day into my day, it won't hurt me, right? Well, you know, one man's poison is another man's spice. Am I right or am I right? Everyone poops everywhere all the time. Where's the outhouse? Yeah, there's an outhouse right here. I fucking knew it. These bastards. This is the lamb. There are later. Oh my god. Look at this fucking OC art of the lamb. Oh my god. That's so funny. They're a bit scary, but they're nice. They gave me a necklace. It has a flower on it. How do they know I love flowers? Love it now. Shalala and Lamb, you weren't supposed to be here. Oh my gosh, they shipped themselves with the lamb. Just because we haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen it yet. So this is what we're going to do. Just this once, everyone vote for the evil side, okay? All right. Let's see if y'all can follow instructions. I love this. This one right here is so good. This is such a good scene. Like I was watching like how they did the teeth and everything here. Forget about it. I like that. He's going crisscross applesauce. No, sorry, that was not his voice. Oh, I might be able to help you for a price. Oh, look, it's Grinaldo. I mean, isn't the Cyclops based off of elephant skulls? It's either elephants or woolly mammoth. Because if you look at an elephant skull, hold on, I'll show you. Look at that. See? If people would see that and be like, oh, that's a Cyclops, right? The beauty about science is that someone gets to test a bunch of stuff. Then they release an article about it. And then other people are like, cool, we don't believe you. So we're going to do the same thing you did and see if we get the same results. And if they do, then it helps support the original idea. That's why you have a thing called peer-reviewed articles. It is articles that have been reviewed by peers. This is how language works. So, with that in mind, I have a sneaking suspicion that this one guy who made this one book, every single scientist who was worth their salt tested this, and they were just like, actually, your math is very wrong in these cases, right? I mean, devolution does kind of happen. It only happens in very unique situations, aka parasitism. So, what creationists don't get is that the idea of God of evolution can coexist. Yeah. Evolution explains how, God explains why. Yeah, I think Einstein also had that same kind of mindset as well. The de-evolution that I'm talking about in the leniency towards complexity I am in agreement that it is the misunderstanding that evolution likes complexity. It doesn't. There is some redundancy, but that's because whatever sticks to the wall sticks to the wall. The evolution is nature's student, okay? If you pass, you get through. There's a lot of weird evolutionary ticks as far as giving you advantage. And so complexity really doesn't have a really big factor in that aspect. Now, de-evolution, at least in this perspective, does kind of exist with parasites. So what happens is that let's say you're a parasite, right? Let's say you're a tapeworm. And let's say you have, before the current tapeworm, you have like arms and legs and shit, right? You have your own way of making a metabolism. But then you get into someone else's gut and you get everything you could possibly need. Why would you need your own metabolism? Why would you need arms and legs? Why would you need any of that? We're talking about de-evolution here. The idea of you kind of going backwards in evolution, because it's not technically de-evolution. It is a de-complexity. It's, in parasites specifically, there is a phenomena where parasites lose certain abilities as they evolve, quote unquote evolve, and they look like they're de-evolving because they're losing shit, right? They're becoming a lot more cost effective. Imagine it's like this. Imagine you spend your entire life not needing your arms and legs, but your body is still supporting your arms and legs as far as metabolism wise, right? So then generations happen and they also do need to use their arms and legs. Eventually, there will be somebody who just doesn't have arms and legs. And guess what? They don't need as much food because they're not paying, their metabolism isn't paying for all those cells that are currently being used, and they're just as effective at what they're doing as all the others. And then they propagate more, etc. So parasites in particular just become less and less complex over time because all they need is to like evolve in a way to make it so that they're able to become parasitic more, like more effective parasites, and then they're good to go until they die, right? But a lot of the like nitty gritty of it is a lot of energy is spent of avoiding immune system responses and things like that, because most animals don't like parasites. We have white blood cells that specifically go against parasites. Random fun fact. If you, the same white blood cells that give you allergies is the same blood cells that are used for parasites. Eosinophils. Your body, every single cell in your body has a particular price as far as energy in order to function. That's why you eat food. That's why you have a base metabolism, right? That base metabolism, as far as per mass, the only way that really increases is you increase mass, right? Exactly. Cupoid gets it. So by increasing your mass, you increase your metabolism, etc. Of course, there's other like factors in this aspect. But so if you lose cells, you have less metabolism that needs to be made. And if you have less metabolism, you need less food, so you can last longer without food. So it is beneficial in a parasitic sense, as long as you're doing your job appropriately. You don't need to suck up as much from your parasitic host, because you have less on you. Oh, humans, listen, if there's one thing I would like to change about humans, I would like to completely fix our fucking sinuses. That thing is a mangled mess. The reason that we have such sinus problems is essentially we're like human version of pugs in a way. Our brains grew way too big, way too quickly. We're still adjusting to our brains. That's why you have Neanderthal DNA in your blood, FYI. We made love, not war, but also we had war. If it's true that he admitted to creating them, this is hilarious. This falls under... Listen, there's a certain kind of science where people are like, oh yeah, no, this is what I believe and this is what we've tested for. And then it gets really popular really quickly, like in culture. And then they get checked and they're just like, hey, this is totally wrong. And they're like, oh, you're right. This is totally wrong. My bad. But by that point, the public already like ran off with it and they can't rein it back in. It's the same thing with the like alpha, beta, gamma, like in wolf packs. The person who like developed that idea regretted it because they realized how wrong they were and they tried to take it back, and society was like, no, this is ours now. This person hates the pit dome, man. He ripped them in half. My God. AKA someone tried to pull a goof and it took way too long to find out. Got it. I mean, I see the argument. Of like, hey, that's not a dinosaur. That's just a fucked up chicken. That's just a chicken, my guy. Like, what do you need? What do you mean? And I mean, I guess a good way of putting it, when you were watching Jurassic Park, were you looking at those dinosaurs being, those are really messed up frogs? Because that's essentially the same thing. Yeah, no, I would say technically, as far as Chickenosaurus goes, both are correct. The guy trying to make the chicken into a raptor, I think eventually over time will get at least what resembles a raptor. I also think it would be just a deformed chicken, but I also believe most people don't care. They just care that it looks like a raptor. You know? It's like, it's not a real thing, but it's kind of like, if you can't, it's like fake meat. If you can't have the real thing, substitute is fine. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, it's a selling point. Yeah, exactly, Ratty. It's like, okay, cool. If you were to tell me right now I could have actual dinosaur dino nuggies from a genetically modified chicken, I would eat that. I would eat the shit out of that. I would feel like conflicted, but do you think dinosaurs tasted like chicken turkey? No. What we got, listen, we're spoiled today. Chicken and turkeys have been bred to be eaten for generations now. They're delicious now. What the hell is this? Mcenemembee, Mongonamodo, Bikara Booby, Mcenemembee. What the heck is Mcenemembee? What are you? It was claimed that fossil footprints of humans were found alongside those dinosaurs, carrying their sins, which is repeated to this day by creationist outlets. What? Did it say the wild trait of reactive aggressively was bred out of humans? Human beings. Human beings. The war starters. The ones who made nuclear bombs. Don't worry, guys. We got the aggressive gene out. What? What do you mean? What do you mean humans got the aggressive dream out? Did these people not go to traffic? Like, have you never had road rage before? Have you never seen a gamer have a gamer moment? Like, what do you mean the reactive aggressive was bred out of humans? The heck? Oh my gosh. Give us a drawing of a hand. There you go. There's your drawing of a hand. AKA, people saw Flintstones and Dinotopia and they were just like, oh, this was a documentary? That's crazy. People be stupid, man. All vertebrates are fish. Well, that's already a misconception. Fish don't exist. We covered this. This is just vertebrates are, and then that's it. Technically, humans and all vertebrates can be cladastically defined as highly specialized fish. That's technically true. Of course, despite being technically true. Damn, he got me. He straight up got me. How do you know I was gonna say that, chat? How do you know I was gonna say that? That's crazy. It's like saying, hey, where are you at? I'm trying to get to where you are. And you're like, Earth. You're like, thanks, asshole. It's like, that's because that's how it's like, you could be right, but still be a dick. That's what this is. It's like, you're not wrong, but I still hate you. Yeah, we came from jelly. Someone watched like the new Alien series, like movies, and saw the black goo. It was just like, that's it, right there. That's where we come from. A theory of life originally from abiotic material. Is this talking about we come from rocks? They saw from the dirt from the land, and they're like, oh, we came from dirt. Evolution has a bit of a hiccup in the very, very beginning of how life started, which I thought was proven. I thought if you ran electricity in water with with raw materials, they'll start building themselves in a similar pattern to DNA. I mean, there's a reason why it took like what 4.6 billion years until like life started on Earth. It takes a lot of like things to line up to make that shit happen. But the idea of is like evolution doesn't explain how it started. So because it can't explain how it started, they're like, it's wrong because it doesn't explain how it started. And they're like, well, we're not talking about that. We care about everything after the start. It's like studying how the universe is expanding quicker, and you're just like, but the Big Bang though. It doesn't explain the Big Bang, and you're like, we don't care about the Big Bang. We care about the what happened after. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Imagine only drawing volcanoes in your paleo art because that's how people identify paleo art, and then being like, oh, that must mean that it was volcanoes erupting all the time because the artist just drew them that way. Microchips in fossils. Now we're getting to the good shit. Imagine just like taking a SIM card from your phone and like shoving it into like one of those spiral shell fossils and just being like, look, this must be that it was here. What would the point be? What's on the microchip? That's what I want to know. I want to know what's on this microchip. I want them to break the data down and just be like, cool, how did it live? So apparently, okay, panspermia. Okay, I can see panspermia. I can see that, where it's kind of like it was like it hitched a ride on a comet, and then when it landed on Earth, it kind of like upstarted everything from the beginning. I can kind of see it. There isn't like a whole lot of evidence for it, but if someone were to tell me like, hey, we found evidence for this is actually like scientifically proven, I wouldn't be surprised. Now we're getting to the good shit. Now we're getting to the man doesn't want you to know territory. Like the guy pulls up in his RV and he has like a whole wall of the RV dedicated to being like, no, you don't get it, man. The man doesn't want you to know. He doesn't want you to know about the giant men. And they also didn't want you to know that my buddy had a live raptor as a pet like 3 months ago. Like some good shit, dude. We're getting into the good shit now. Got you. It's people believing in Eve and Christianity, misinterpreting a very, I would say, clever name for the line of mitochondria. So for those that don't know, you get your mitochondria from your mom. Always. The sperm don't carry that shit. So if you follow your mitochondria DNA, which FYI, way long time ago, when our cells were still trying to become cells, mitochondria were completely different than, like, was a completely separate organism than our cells. And then one day they were eaten by our cells, but they didn't get consumed. They kind of like realized they had more in common. They had, they talked about their interests. There was a spark, you know how it be. And what ended up happening is that the mitochondria went from an organism to an organelle, which is kind of like an organ of a cell. Like mitochondria is, some would say, the powerhouse of the cell, where they would give the cell a huge power boost. Like imagine like learning magic for the first time in a fantasy manhwa or something, right? Like that's the level here, where it's just like, oh fuck, I could actually do a whole lot with this guy like being a part of me here. But the mitochondria gets the safety of being inside a cell, and it is kind of providing all the work for it, right? With the face completely flattened and rounded. This is giving me that one show in the 90s where they're like dinosaur humans. Russell's evocative image left an indelible mark on popular culture and terrified many dinosaur kids in the 90s. Yep, there it is. There it is right there. I just talked about that. Okay, let's look at all these, right? Let's look at Dinosauroid. What the hell? What the fuck? Look at that. Look at here. Look at this man. Look at this dude. Look at the bee. All right. Ava sapiens. Let's see these. Oh my god, look, it's just a guy with a gun. Look at these. Look at these guys. Oh, that's kind of cool. Hey, that's actually kind of cool. Like, actually? Look, they're using tools. I mean, we already know that ravens do that. They already use tools and make tools. Well, I don't know if they can make tools, but I know they can utilize tools. Oh, that's so neat. Okay. Oh, I want to see this. Ooh, look at this thing. Oh, it did art. And then Bioraptor. Let's see the Bioraptor. Hold on, Bioraptor doesn't need to be the whole thing. Let's see. What the fuck is this? What is this? No. No. What? No. How is that any different from the first one? Except it's just like... Guys, I think we found... What would you call it? What would you call it? Like a centaur? Like a human head on a raptor body? What would you call this? A raptor? I love this guy. I love this little man. Look at this. Look at this goofy goober. Look at this creature. Look at this little man. This is me coming into my kitchen at like 3 a.m. for snacks. He would. I think I made this in Spore. I think he's right. Yeah, this is a spore-ass creature right there. This is Shinichi Fujimura, a leading archaeologist in prehistoric Japanese cultures, was revealed in 2000 to have faked almost all the discoveries made over his career, spanning at least since 1981 and 140 dig sites. What the fuck? Wow. Imagine. I wonder what was the thing that got him caught. Imagine like spending 29 years or 19 years on something. I wonder if it was just like, oh, we caught you. we got you. It's like a bunch of dinosaurs and then just like weird shit. It's just like, is that Slender Man? Why is Slender Man on that blanket? I have heard this defense before. I have heard that the fossil records was a test of faith, which is stupid. But, you know, I'm just a dodo on the internet. Who the fuck do I know? Dinosaur tissue claims. Yeah, they blew their nose a lot. Of the Bone Wars infamy, I've heard about the Bone Wars. Have y'all heard about this shit? The Bone Wars of when the West was kind of opened up, where there's two guys were like just writing their shit on everything and just being like, yeah, this is also a thing and this is totally true, when it like really wasn't. And they just wanted to get their name out, and it was just them fighting against each other the whole time. Have you heard of, what was the effect called? It was like islandification or something. So it's why we have pygmy elephants, or we had pygmy elephants. Because some elephants got stuck on an island and then they decreased in size because islandification, for the most part, makes things small. Because the it's believed it's because the resources are limited. So you kind of naturally get smaller, so you don't need to eat as much. So then you survive better. But it is like the pygmification, essentially, where you do get smaller, with the actually is an exception, which is pterosaurs, actually, like Quetzalcoatlus and things of that nature. And actually they became bigger when they got close to islands and shit, because they weren't stuck on that island, or at least this is what they believe, right? And they were able to hunt. They were able to have more prey that were now smaller because of the limited environment, and they had more to eat, so they became bigger. So it's kind of like this weird like thing where if you were able to fly and take advantage of the smaller creatures, you became bigger, which then made things even smaller because of even decreased resources, blah, blah, blah. So it's a very interesting thing. But basically, Cope's rule can suck a butt. Things don't naturally get bigger just because of time. The man saw a snake and was just like, wait a second. I bet this happens to literally everything. Reptoids serpent cult. Oh, we just hopping right into it, aren't we? We just going right into it. The theory that various serpents cults throughout the ancient worlds were part of a unified root religion, worshipping a prehistoric overlord race of reptiles. They're believed to be a sapient humanoid race of bipedal reptiles that live secretly on Earth, that often infiltrated and disguised among humans. Oh, so this is the belief that the president of the United States have been replaced by lizard people. That's what this is. Do you want to take a guess how many percentage of people in the United States believe in this shit? It's more than you think. Or unlike other popular creationists, this work takes Hindu. I just find it amusing where it's just like, creationist is like 2,000 years, and he's just like, pathetic. 2.8 billion. Dinosaur mating mystery. This is one. I'm not even going to read the rest of this yet. This is one of those things I've also considered. I'm just like, how the fuck does that work? How would it work? Like, how does it work? The question of how large dinosaurs mated, especially those massively heavy earthbound quadrupeds with obtrusive spikes like Stegosaurus, remains one of the most baffling and highly speculative questions of paleontology. That's it. That's literally it. It doesn't even explain it. No one can explain it. How do they mate? How do they do it? No one sat me down about the birds and the bees, or in this case, the Archaeopteryx and whatever the ancient version of bees would be. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe they're just hung. Maybe they are huge. That's like the first thing we get a time travel, go back in time. They're like, my God, they're huge. My God. It's like, what the fuck? Kind of like how horses do it, but horses don't have giant tails that stick out that like would get in the way, unless they would go like on their sides on the ground. Maybe they make a pulley system, and then and then they just get lowered down. Other dinosaurs kind of like help out with the pulley system. The shudder, so-called cloacal kiss, in which two dinosaurs would have to line up their cloacas. I forgot that they have cloacas. I forget that they do have that. Fire-breathing parasaurs? What? Creationist Duane T. Gish, in his book of Dinosaurs by Design, argued that the chambered crest on the Parasaurolophus skulls was a mixing chamber for flammable materials, such which the dinosaur spewed like a dragon from its mouth in defense against predators. That's awesome. All right. We're gonna go ahead and let me move this over here real quick. I'm gonna write a note down real quick. No, don't worry about it. Parasaur breathing fire adjustment. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go visit my parasaur in a little bit. We're gonna have some modifications. Nothing crazy. As the zygote grows, it looks very similar to a lot of other mammals and how they grow. So they're just kind of like, oh, so we're just as you go from zygote to human, you go through the entire evolutionary process that got to this point. And it's like, I don't think that's how that works. Instead of it looking like there's a shield in front, it's just like an extra, like imagine the top of the frills, the start of the back. Like that's how the back starts. Okay. I'm all for flexibility as far as reconstruction. So I disagree, but I kind of like the idea of it. It's less pretty. Listen, like when it comes to ceratopsians, they're probably my favorite like group of dinosaurs as far as like potential variety and color, and they can use it as presentation and sexual selection. Like there's a lot of really good, like this is such a good group of just variability that I absolutely love, and has claimed to have identified exotic new species such as an insect-sized pterosaur. That is a small pterosaur. How would it survive? Would it just explode? Okay. Oh Okay. Uh-huh. Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay, we have to. I have to. I am just so... Oh my... Okay. You know what? No. No. It might be even too cursed for me. That's crazy. Imagine making a claim and just being like, guys, I was just thinking out loud. I'm sorry. I didn't know. Like, I wasn't being serious. I was just kidding. It was just a prank. No, I did not hear about any of this, but this definitely... Look at this. Apparently you sit in its lap. Colloquially named for the Tully monstrum, a carboniferous monster that resembles nothing in the fossil record before or since. Its classification remains a complete mystery, even in the broadest strokes of phyla affiliation. Tully seems to be one of the most enduring unexplained fossils in which still resists identification after almost a century of research. Let's see this thing. Let's see how this thing looks. Oh, yeah, this is your guy. How did this vase get here? This is 500 million years old. I disagree. I highly disagree. That is crazy to me to say, hell, it's like, listen, if that was the case, there are predators that eat caterpillars now. In today's time, what makes you think that 65 million years ago, that if there was an abundance of caterpillars, like the juicy little things that they are, not that I would know, I've never had any, but that there wouldn't be, there's insectivores. Dinosaurs have that. They eat bugs. There are dinosaurs that specifically eat bugs. What do you mean? If there wasn't one that didn't eat caterpillars, there would be soon. Like, animals are really good. Life is really good at being like, man, I can't reach these leaves, but these caterpillars are fucking everywhere. So I guess I'm going to start eating them. And then they're like, these taste like Doritos. Is that nacho cheese? And then they just like go in and then eat all them. Probably tastes like grapes. This might be the most ridiculous one that I've read today. And that's saying a lot. We read some really ridiculous ones. This might be the most ridiculous one. Actually, I need to see someone's math of like, why do you feel that they would not just be completely destroyed before they get to that point? Pre-roll's on. We need to go to ads. Ads. Ad break. Not every single climate change event has to be from an asteroid, but whatever. Chandra. God, should I even attempt this name? Chandra Rick Ramsing. Yeah, we're going to go with that. Were you all here when I talked about how Tyrannosaurus Rex filled multiple niches throughout its life cycle? Where what you actually had was that the juvenile was more of an insectivore. So it fulfilled a role of animals that eat insect. And then when it was an adolescent, it ate the smaller like dinosaurs and smaller prey. And then when it gets to an adult, it would hunt the bigger stuff. So it essentially, like, there was a period of time where the Tyrannosaurus lived, there was a significant lack of niches that were normally filled by other dinosaurs that weren't being filled. And they found that curious. So that's really, really cool. Birds are not dinosaurs. Banned. Speaking of which, if you say that in my chat, you are also banned. Oh, you want to tempt me? Bear? You want to go? You want to try this? You want to take it back before I pull the trigger? You don't think I will? I have your name hovered right now in chat. Boop. He timed out for 10 minutes. Anyway. Listen, don't call me on my shit. Don't call me on my shit. Don't test me. I'm not afraid to pull the trigger. He's kind of cute. He's kind of like a big ichthyosaur. Oh, Chickenosaurus is a genus of a very large ichthyosaur. My timing, man. My timing has been great today. My pronunciation has been god-awful, but my timing's been good. Those are complicated scientific words. So, epigenetic inheritance, essentially. So the way this works is this. There is your DNA that basically tells what your body what to do, right? It's the instructions. It is your body's instruction manual, essentially. Epigenetics is what turns certain things off and certain things on, right? So, like the whole influenced by environmental factors, the environmental influence is essentially an epigenetic turning on and off of certain genes, right? It's a bit complicated, but we're talking about science that I learned in like a master's degree, so we're talking pretty up there. Somatic hypermutation, I don't really remember what that is as much, but if I had to guess, it would be your genes suddenly mutating throughout your life cycle, leading to contemporary resurgence of interest. Lincolnism and neo-Lincolnism have sometimes been referred to as ideological Lamarckism. So here's the thing. With this one, I can kind of see the point. I think there is some weight to the argument that what you do in your life, or any animal, like if they're like trying to reach higher, if they're trying to swim more, if they are trying to like go about things in that way, then that means the next generation have an increased like advantage. They have a bit of an advantage because they've done, like the previous generation has done a lot of the work, and then they take a little piece of that, right? So I do think there is some merit to it. I don't think it's just random chance. I really don't. I think there is some power in the intent of action in that aspect. Ooh, the horse alligator. Ooh, I love that one. Oh yeah, but these things have the legs. Like, look at this thing. This thing. Can you imagine an alligator galloping at your ass? Like, damn. I want to remind y'all that there's no flesh to Mama Dodo. She is rock in miasma. So don't get thinking. It looks like a Spinosaurus that kind of got clipped by a propeller. He's doing it to test me. He is fucking around and finding out. I provide the finding out. Seeing them emerge from not as primates from an sorry, I've been talking a lot this stream. Incorporeal consciousness in a kind of gooey blob to Aryan giants who keep plesiosaurs as pets and communicate telepathically. What? I almost skipped this. What the hell were they believing in? Y'all have all come in here from the short, or at least for the most part, from the short of where I sentenced someone to a life of being a gold statue for punching me in the face in a game. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Ufological and conspiracy theory literature sometimes entertains the idea. I love the language. This person can't avoid their own opinions in their writing, and it's hilarious. Ah, this little goober. Good choice. I like that. Good choice, Piranha. In English folklore, ammonite fossils are identified as goblin toenails, and fossilized shark teeth were known as snake tongues. Aquatic ape hypothesis, or this list would kind of explain that. And then there's also like, what was they call it? Like whale brain is what people call it. If you put your head in water, there's a weird physiological response that brings your heartbeat and blood pressure down. And the you know, it's said the reason is because like way back when we used to like live in the water, blah blah blah. But that's not really. More than likely, it's just like a survival response of you needing to utilize your oxygen more efficiently. Like, it's a survival response, right? So I think there's definitely something here, not to the extent of mermaid-like human ancestors, but to the point where it would make sense if we were more adapted to aquatic life.